I was absolutely devastated when I heard about the news. It was a long time ago, but it seems to me as if it was yesterday still. My grandfather, Sir Walter Smiles, was a remarkable man. His father, William Smiles, started the Belfast rope works. He married Margaret Highway, an English girl. She was 42 years of age. I don't think they thought they would ever have children, but rather surprisingly she found she was pregnant, age 42. And they had my mother, Patsy, their only child. And he went off to Assam in India, where he became a very successful tea planter. Well, as a boy, he used to travel to Donaghadee from Belfast, and he found this point of land, and he said, when I grow up, I'm going to make enough money to buy this land to build a house to make my home. And when he came back from India, indeed, he did buy that plot of land, and he did build the family home of Portobello Point opposite the Copeland Islands. He'd had a very distinguished war record, serving in the Armoured Car Division in Russia, and I imagine it was a natural progression of service to country. His choice was obviously to become a politician. I adored my grandfather. He was an icon of mine, really, right from the word go. My mother adored him, I adored him. He had an office in his study at Portobello Point, and I was the only person who was ever allowed to disturb him during the morning. And I remember him saying, "You just have to knock 3 times and I'll let you in." My grandfather, I remember well, used to line me up, and he used to sing, "Goodbye, Sally, I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, Sally, I don't want you to cry," every time he took off on the Monday morning to go to Parliament in Westminster. My grandmother was always very worried about him flying backwards and forwards from Northern Ireland to England, and it was rather ironic that the one time he didn't actually fly, he actually took the Stranraer to Larne car ferry, which claimed his life. There was a storm brewing on the Friday night, which got worse and worse and worse, and really the Princess Victoria didn't have a hope of salvation. Perfectly obvious was just not going to make it to Larne. Got swept down south in the waves and the storm, and eventually sank within sight of his home just behind the Copeland Islands. And the impact of his death and the aftermath of the sequence of events of my mother succeeding him in the by-election to represent North Down in Parliament had a big effect on our family life as well. I mean, she was absolutely devastated, really seriously devastated by the whole episode. She was with my grandmother at Portobello Point at the time. The memories are so acute still of the storm, the activities, the people coming and going to report back that unfortunately there was no sign of Sir Walter Smiles on any of the lifeboats, and very soon it became patently obvious that his life had been lost. My mother's wish always was to be buried with the father she adored, and so when she died, my sister and I arranged for the Donaghadee lifeboat to take us out to where the Princess Victoria's wreck went down, in order for us to drop her casket into the deep with her father. And it was quite a gloomy day. It was raining and the sea was quite rough, but when the engine stopped, the clouds parted and a shaft of sunlight came down, and we dropped my mother's casket into the deep, and the clouds then closed again, and we went back to Donegal.